So today we're going to be focusing on yogic breathing. So there's a way in which breath work, which has been the theme for the month of May, but we took a slight deviation last week to focus on loving kindness. But to finish out our series on breath work, we're going to be looking at some of the different breathing exercises that have been taught to me as a yoga instructor. If you think about your physiologic kind of controls, there are two main highways that the nervous system goes down. One we call fight or flight, and the other we call rest and digest. And these correspond with what we call the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. So sympathetic nervous system, or the fight or flight system, is the thing that gets activated when we're feeling anxious. And if you think about where you feel anxiety in the body, for some of us, it's our stomach tightens, for some of us, our heart races, and that actually corresponds with physiologic changes that happen when we're in fight or flight. So if you think about what you've got to do when you have to fight or flight, or the other part of that is freeze, you've got to tense all your muscles, your heart has to beat faster so that it sends more blood to the limbs so that you can get out of there or punch or whatever you got to do. It's not a great time to digest a big meal, so blood actually gets shunted away from the stomach. So it kind of explains why when we feel anxious, we feel these different physical things in our body. And the other side of that is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the rest and digest, the 30 minutes after Thanksgiving kind of feeling, where actually a lot of the blood goes to our stomach and our muscles feel very relaxed and our heartbeat slows. When we're in these two systems, it's very hard for us to control things. We can't tell our muscles or our blood, like, go to the muscles or go to the stomach, right? But there is one system that we can control, and that is our respiratory system. So when you are in the fight or flight mode, or the sympathetic nervous system mode, that's when your breathing gets really shallow and really fast. So and even just doing that can make your body feel more anxious. Whereas the parasympathetic breath is the low, slow, long breath. And just taking one of those can be very relaxing. And by controlling your breath, by making it faster or slower, it's one of the few systems that we can use to actually pull our brain off of, and our nervous system off of that parasympathetic or that sympathetic nervous system and shift it to the other. So if we're feeling anxious and we're feeling that sympathetic or fight or flight freeze system activated, one way that we can pull ourselves into that rest and digest calm state is to slow our breath, because by slowing our breath, we reflexively will slow our heart, and that will reflexively kind of bring the rest of the organs and the overall system into that more relaxed, restful state. So before we go into kind of variations on different type of kind of yoga trick breathing, I want us to just start by taking some regular breaths and just noticing. So for the next 5 breaths or so, just inhale and exhale. Try not to manipulate it. Just see where you're breathing. Are you breathing into your abdomen? Are you breathing into your chest? Are you breathing into both? Do you breathe through your nose? Do you breathe through your mouth? Even as we're talking about the breath, are you noticing that you actually are taking fuller and deeper breaths? Now we're going to actually engage in some control over the breath. So I want you to put one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And again, at first, just notice, where are you breathing? Are you breathing into your bottom hand, or are you breathing into your top hand? The first breath I'm going to teach today is the full yogic breath. So the full yogic breath is the idea that we use the entirety of our lungs to fully take advantage of each breath. So as you breathe in, your bottom hand or your stomach is going to fill with air, and you're going to see that your belly rises. And as you continue with that breath, your chest or the top hand may also rise. And then as you breathe out, notice that your belly and your chest and the hands on the bottom and the top kind of slowly come back into your body. Let's try that for 5 deep breaths. Inhaling through your nose, allowing that air to fully expand your lungs, so much so that your belly rises, and then your chest, and then letting that breath go nice and slow, and having your belly and your chest slowly return to your body. Notice as you engage in this breath, your shoulders kind of relax a bit. Maybe other tension in your body starts to release as you release the breath. And I encourage you to breathe through your nose. But if it's challenging to do that because you're stuffed up or you're more of a mouth breather, then that's okay. You can breathe through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose, letting that air go all the way to the base of your stomach, fully expanding your lungs, so much so that your chest starts to rise, and then gently letting the breath go. Your stomach and your chest slowly coming back to your body. If you find that it's challenging to focus your mind while this is happening, maybe just direct them to your hands and see if you can't just try to get your bottom hand to lift and then your top hand, just through the force of letting the breath come in and out of your body, not by moving your hands at all. Sometimes it can be challenging for us to sleep at night, for many of us. So if you find yourself just laying there in the dark with your mind going in a bunch of different directions, try placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest and allowing the breath. And it's actually even easier when you're laying down than it is when you're sitting up. Allowing the breath to just come in and out of your body so that your bottom hand and then your top hand rise gently, and then exhaling and letting them fall back into your body. Even just laying there and doing these types of deep breathing can be very restorative and regenerative to all the cells of your body that need relaxing. So your mind may be going, but the muscles of your legs or the connective tissue in your shoulders may be getting a lot of restorative and restful moments just by laying there and doing this deep type of breathing. And some people find if they do it for long enough, kind of the rhythm of it, it's almost like the rhythm of the ocean, of the waves going in and out, that it can kind of make you, once you fall into that rhythm, that in of itself can help you get back to sleep. Okay, and I'm going to have you take one more full deep breath and then relax your arms by your side. So that type of breathing, that full yogic breath or the belly breathing, that's one thing to do. You may say, Dr. Saha, I don't have any time to meditate. Well, just waking up and first thing in the morning, doing 10 of those deep breaths can be enough of a way to kind of get you going for the rest of the day. Some of us find that our anxiety is highest in those two times, at night when we go to bed, and first thing in the morning when we've got to face our day. And so taking a series of 10 full yogic breaths or 10 full belly breaths is one way to kind of just reset ourselves before we move on to the next thing. It's also the breath that we'll be using more and more as we deepen our meditation practice. Okay, the next few breaths are going to be a little bit different, and they're for different things. So the first breath that I'm going to talk to you about is the breath of fire. This is more of an energizing or cleansing breath. Again, something that you can do more so if you're feeling like midday, that you're not having a lot of energy, or if you're just feeling like, oh, I need to start my day off, but I just want to be in this bed for 30 more minutes. And the breath of fire is a breath that we use to really kind of pump air into our systems and get the blood flowing. So the breath of fire is a series of forced exhalations. So we're actively going to push air out of our body, but we don't necessarily have to do anything to get the air back in. It just automatically comes back into our body as we recoil. So this is another breath where you can put your hands on your belly just to kind of make sure that you're doing it right. And what we're going to do is, using our nose, we're going to close our mouth and do a series of exhalations, and I'll guide you through those. And then we're going to take about 30 seconds after that, and we're just going to hold the breath. So on a physiologic level, what we're doing is we're actually getting rid of a bunch of carbon dioxide by forcing the breath out. And then we're going to hold the breath for a moment to just let the carbon dioxide kind of rebuild in our body. You should find that after we do about 2 rounds of this, that you may feel a little bit more energized. So if the pace that I am going seems too fast for you, don't keep up. Just go with what you feel is comfortable. So placing your hands on your abdomen, you're going to do a series of forced exhales. Exhale, 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 exhale completely. Now taking a deep breath in, that full yogic breath, taking the air all the way into the bottom of your stomach. And then a full breath out, pressing all the air out from your lungs. And now just taking a 3/4, kind of almost full, but not full breath. And then pause and hold the breath. You may decide that it's helpful to close your eyes while you're doing this. And again, if it feels overwhelming, you can always let the breath go and come back to your normal breathing. And if you haven't done so already, let that breath go. I'm going to do one more round of that. So taking a deep breath in and letting out the breath. Inhaling and preparing to begin. And exhale, 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 exhale. And now taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Now taking a gentle 3/4 breath. and retain the breath. If at any point it feels too much, go ahead and let it go and just continue to breathe normally. And if you haven't done so already, you can release that breath. That was about 30 seconds. So again, that's a breath that you can access. And as you practice more and more, you may find that you can go for longer in terms of the period of forced exhalations. And then the longer you go in the period of forced exhalations, the longer you'll be able to hold your breath. And there are some yogis that can hold their breath like for minutes at a time after years and years of practice. If you ever feel lightheaded, let go and breathe normally, as you generally would. But you may find, and they call that the breath of fire, or actually the direct translation is burning skull. You may find that you start to feel a warmth that kind of comes up into your head as you do that type of breath. So that's more on the energizing side, which a lot of us have problems with energy. The other side of breathing exercises that we can use to really kind of calm and balance our systems. This breath is called Anuloma Viloma, or alternate nostril breathing. So this is a breath where we actually will kind of block off our nostrils and breathe in and out through the right and then through the left sides. And this speaks to this whole concept of like yin and yang, that we have these different forces inside of us, the light and the dark, the sun and the moon, the energized and the sleepy. And that we find that throughout the day, it's kind of interesting. Throughout the day, your body will go in cycles and you'll be predominantly kind of right nostril breathing or left nostril breathing. And this is a breath that attempts to kind of balance the two sides. So it can be both a balancing breath and also a relaxing breath. So if you are finding that you are feeling a little bit bouncing all over the place, this is a kind of breath that can kind of bring you back to center. Other people find that if they're feeling a little bit low and sluggish, other than the kind of breath of fire, that they may decide to do this breath to kind of give themselves more energy. There are some yogis that say that doing 15 minutes of this breath is like taking an hour of sleep. We won't do it for that long, but I do want to give you just a taste of it. So we're going to do it in two fashions. First, we're going to do it just to breathe on both sides, and then we're going to do a little bit of a practice where we breathe in, we hold the breath, and then we let go. So for this breath, you can kind of use your hands in a certain formation. So you're going to take your second finger and your middle finger, and you're going to press it down so that your thumb, your fourth finger, and your pinky are the only ones up. And if your hand doesn't do this, it's because I've been practicing this for over 25 years. And so my fingers do this really well. It's easy. I built the muscles. But for most people, you'll find that your fingers are kind of like not used to being in this position, and they may curve a little bit. So you're going to take a deep breath in, and you're going to block off your right nostril and just breathe out the left nostril. And then breathe in the left nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your nose. Release the right side with your thumb and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the nostril with your thumb. Let go with your forefinger on the other side and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Block off the left. Release the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Block it off. Let go on the left. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to block off both and just try to hold it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Release the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Block off both nostrils. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Release the left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Release the right and very slowly breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold both. And then exhale on the left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold and release on the right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now lower your hands and close your eyes if you can. Just take a few moments and feel the balancing effects of that breath. Generally, when we do that breath, you're going to inhale for 4 counts, hold for 16, and exhale for 8, or any 1 to 4 to 2 ratio. So that could be 5 counts inhale, holding for 20, and then exhaling for 10, inhaling for 5, holding for 20, exhaling for 10. It's really up to what feels comfortable to you. And if that holding the breath doesn't feel comfortable, then just inhaling and exhaling on both sides. In the short time we have left, I just want to go over 3 breaths that can be helpful in sequence or individually. These are all breaths that you might just decide to kind of do in a moment when you're just feeling a certain kind of way. So the first breath is the horse breath. This is a breath that makes children giggle and can make you giggle if you're just kind of feeling like, things are getting really tense and serious and you just need to kind of blow off some steam. So take a deep breath in and then blow out like a horse. And you can do that a couple times. Again, if you're feeling like things are you just need a break from the intensity of the world, it's one way to just kind of release it. I know it looks silly, but it's kind of fun to do. The next breath is a lion's breath. So this is another, again, if things are kind of getting intense and you just need to release something real quick, you take a deep breath in through your nose and then sticking out your tongue, making your eyes real wide, just letting it go. So deep breath in. Last breath, and this is a breath that I encourage you to do often. It's a way to kind of soothe ourselves, again, when things get really intense. And it's just a humming breath. So taking a deep breath in and then letting it out. Last time. You can just feel your shoulders drop as you hum to yourself. One way to do those in sequence is if things are kind of getting to you in the middle of the day or the beginning of the day, end of the day, your partner pisses you off, something. You can just take a second and do all 3 at once. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for trying some new ways to breathe. I encourage you to keep practicing those breaths or using them as you need. We'll be back here next Friday at 12. Be well.